A very good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Times Exclusive here on Times Network. I'm Banda, thanking you for joining us tonight. The program tonight is coming to you courtesy of Rainbow Pens. My guest tonight is Mr. James Woods Nkhutabasa, who is a partner and director at Rainbow Sports Global. He's joining us for the first time in exclusive. Thank you very much and welcome back home.
Thank you very much for having me on the program.
Yes, who is James Woods?
Well, I think it's a question I ask myself as well, but to help the audience understand who I am and know who I am. So I was born in Malawi, born in Koma, grew up in Cholo, Mandala, Sunnyside, and I spent the majority of my life living Kusigerege, Ujilomoni.
Okay.
I did my education here in Malawi, so in all those locations, that's where I did my primary school and secondary schooling. I moved to the UK for my university.
When was that?
I moved to the UK, that was 2004.
Okay.
So in 2004, I moved to the UK. I pursued a degree in political science at the University of London. Upon completing the political science degree, I landed a job with the Mo Ibrahim Foundation.
Okay.
So Mo Ibrahim, the foundation itself focuses on promoting good governance in Africa. For those who may not be familiar with who Mo Ibrahim is, this is a man who founded Celtel, which is today Airtel, the man who brought mobile telecommunications to 18 African countries.
I see.
So having the opportunity to work with them, this changed my life. I was able to network with world leaders. I was able to network with policymakers, decision makers, celebrities, philanthropists. Just for example, on the board of the foundation, we had the likes of Joaquim Chissano, the former president of Mozambique, Festus Mogae, the former president of Botswana. Just to give you a few of those names, the late Nelson Mandela. So over those years, I was able to meet these individuals, create relationships with these individuals, but most importantly, I think what I learned from there shaped my view of Africa. After 3 years of working with the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, I then pursued a master's degree at the London School of Economics and Political Science, where I did social policy and development economics. During my time at the LSE, I was one of the co-founders of the LSE Africa Summit, so the first focus on Africa that the London School of Economics had for students and policymakers to convene and find solutions to the challenges that Africa is facing. During my time there, I got involved in political initiatives. So I worked on elections. I will not mention the countries, but I worked on 4 African countries on presidential elections.
Doing what?
Advisory on communication strategy and international relations for them.
Okay.
So very much the governmental relations, strategic reputation management, and communications. So we worked, this would be more Western, Eastern, and Central Africa, where we did the works. Following from then on, I did a bit of work on crisis management, reputation management for shipping companies. We worked with a company in the UK called Navigate Response. They have operations spanning the globe. From then on, I ended up spending a number of years consulting for different players in the political sphere. But also, if we look at here in Malawi, I also did a lot of work with Shorestream Petroleum, who were invested here in Malawi doing oil and gas exploration. So I spent a couple of years with them as a chief consultant.
Okay.
We move on from there. I then spent a number of years working in the embassy of Malawi to Belgium.
Okay.
When I say Belgium, we were accredited to several locations. It was not only Belgium. So we had Belgium, Luxembourg, the Principality of Monaco, France, Italy, the Netherlands, and more recently it was Andorra, but not forgetting the European institution itself.
Okay.
So I spent about 4 years there under the administration.
When was that?
That was 2018,
okay.
And I left
with Peter Mutharika.
Yes,
okay.
with the former president, now former president Peter Mutharika, and I left a year after the administration.
So you were based in Belgium?
I was based in Belgium, yes.
Okay. So what were you doing at the embassy?
So the embassy itself, as you already know, with our embassies, they've been very lowly staffed at the time.
Yeah.
So we had 3 diplomats and 9 local staff. So we had Ambassador Tetson Kalebe, and we also had Mike Manula as Minister Counselor.
Yeah.
So I was there as the head of Chancery.
Okay.
Now, our main focus on that was actually at getting trade between the two regions. When I say 2 regions, I'm meaning Europe because we're under the EU.
Yeah.
Away from that as well, trying to find opportunities for Malawians for education, particularly also in the agricultural space. I did a lot of work with the World Food, with the IFAD, International Food and Agricultural Development Fund. We did a lot of work around in Rome and Italy, trying to attract money into Malawi on how we can improve the agri-economy here with their expertise. So that was, I would say, we changed a lot of livelihoods with the sort of things we did there. We also worked with the European Investment Bank. As you already know, the European Investment Bank are doing a lot of work here in Malawi. But also, most importantly, just the relations between the European Union and Malawi. So it was my own experience was a great experience to have been there. I learned a lot. And it was also an honor for me to have served.
So it was a 4-year contract?
So what happens with diplomacy here is that you're on a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
So I did my 3 years. And then I did an extra year under the administration of the current president.
President Chakwera.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was there for 4 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Then thereafter.
So during that process of working with the embassy, I'd also been involved in a number of other initiatives. So one of them is Rainbow Sports Global.
Okay.
Rainbow Sports Global itself. This is an entity that works in advancing sports on the African continent. Our aim is actually to become one of the largest sporting organizations out of Africa on a global scale. Now, with Rainbow Sports itself, we have operations in Cameroon. We're setting up operations here in Malawi, which I'll get to a little bit later on. But away from that, we also have clubs in Kenya, a club in Dubai. So we have Elite Falcons in Dubai. We have Rainbow FC in Kenya. We've partnered with Leganés, Spanish football club in La Liga, Cancun FC in Mexico. So in essence, that's where we get the name Rainbow Sports Global. We're not just on Africa, we're global, but our main emphasis is how can we get African talent, expose African talent to European, Asian, American, or continental football. But not only that, we want to also have that value chain whereby we're not just moving players, we also own the infrastructure within countries we're operating in so that we can own academies, we can start developing talent from a very young age, how we can nurture that talent, also providing education and other methods. As we are very well aware that not every athlete is going to become a professional player. So what we can do in that process is how can we help develop them into outstanding citizens for the globe? How can we also help them develop other careers outside of sport if they fail to make that
So that's where you're putting more of your efforts now.
Absolutely. Right now, a lot of my effort is on that. I also do a bit of governmental advisory. So at the moment, I'm working with a West African country on elections. The elections are coming up very soon.
Which country is that?
We'll keep that one for next time.
Why?
I think, to be very honest with you, okay, I'll let you know the country. I'm working with Ghana.
Okay, so you're working with Ghana. So what are you giving? What services are you giving to Ghana?
So with Ghana, the biggest services, my expertise away from sports, my biggest expertise is in strategic communications and reputation management. This is where I spent the vast majority of my career, from the time I joined Mo Ibrahim Foundation to present day. This is where I've done a lot of my work. So working with private companies, working with government officials. So on that is how do we...
Give me an example. Putting presidents on front page magazines? Is that what you're referring to?
That is part of the work, yes.
Okay.
So it would be, when we go about reputation management, is how can we get key individuals placed in key media, number one. How can we get endorsements from international organizations to individuals? How can we get people to attend speaking engagements, be it the Qatar Economic Forum, be it United Nations General Assembly?
Okay.
How can we get people to be on BBC Focus on Africa, on BBC Hard Talk?
Okay.
So we do that, and then there's also issues such as writing of op-eds, opinion editorials. So for instance, I'll take you're a media guru. I would say, do you know what, we need to have a bit more of your name reverberating in the Middle East. I'll look at publications in the Middle East, and I'll say, okay, let's write a piece on the growth of media between Africa and the Middle East. I could write it, but I'll use your name. I'll pen your name. I'll give it to you to confirm that you're happy with the content. We get it placed. We start creating you into a thought leader. So that aspect is that you're creating thought leadership of individuals.
Okay.
So we pinpoint the key areas. So for example, you take, I'm just giving an example here. say you want to run for office as FIFA president, for example.
Yeah.
The world wants to know: do you converse well with football? What have you done? So we'll get you speaking at forums that focus on football. We'll get you writing on football initiatives. We'll get you meeting key people in the sporting industry. So what we're doing is we're giving you that holistic aspect whereby we're covering all the loopholes to make you appear as a well-rounded figure for that position you're running for. And then at that same time, we try to get endorsements from leading players who can come around and say, oh, Brian Banda is really good at this, with tangible evidence of what you have done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're making money out of that?
You make very, very good money, yes.
You do?
It is. It's very good money. I think this, to be honest with you,
yeah.
This is an industry whereby you have major organizations that are running this for presidents, for athletes, for Hollywood stars, for musicians, because the world we live in now, as they say, reputation is what matters.
Yeah.
If you have a negative reputation, nobody wants to touch you. If you have a positive reputation, it opens doors.
What have you done for this country?
For this country, what have I done? Well, there's a lot of hits and misses, so to be very honest with you, because when I say hits and misses, there's certain things you want to accomplish, but they fall through because of perception. There's certain things you do, and they're successful. So in what I've done for this country, I can say to you that I have worked with every single head of state from 2014 to modern day. I have very good relationships with every one of them.
Okay.
I do not go according to party colors. I have helped heads of states appear on front covers of magazines. I've helped them network with global leaders. I have helped in supporting development of Malawi. As I said,
including President Chakwera?
Yes,
okay.
He is our president after all.
Yeah.
This is Malawi. Whether you're a DPP, whether you're UDF, PP, UTM, Ford, MCP, President Chakwera is a president of Malawi. He is not a president of the Twase Alliance.
Yeah.
So that is one thing I always carry with myself, that we always need to remember that in dziko lathu.
Yeah.
Dziko lathu tisamade ngeza ndali. Indali ezo ziba ngexist be.
Yeah.
Koma tizithaso benabake kwika ndali zijabana ukamba zokuthi anthu umayi kuna kuvutika.
Yeah.
Tiyathandiza banje anthu anje. That's the mema bangira ineyo ukuthi ababa buya muntu uya akagone kunyumba wake ndi chokudya.
Okay.
Akhale ndi malata kuti mvula isamugunde.
Yeah.
Mwana uya apite ku school.
Yeah.
Amayawo akhale ndi malata akodyesa family yawo. That's the main aim for me, that let's forget about the politics, let's help the development of Malawi. So here, away from that, another issue that we can probably speak about was more recently, was an engagement we did with the Ministry of Tourism here in Malawi. So just to run you through that, we had a great idea to develop certain infrastructure here in Malawi for the youth.
Yeah.
This was entailing sports. Now, based on that, we had the opportunity of meeting with His Excellency President Lazarus Chakwera at the United Nations General Assembly. This would be just over a year ago.
Yeah.
We met him there and we proposed our idea to him of what we want to do for the development of Malawi, particularly the youth. He loved the idea. He gave us his endorsement. We started liaising with the Malawi government on how we could start developing sporting infrastructure, a football academy, to be frank. But as you know, sometimes dealing with government can also be quite frustrating. It can be a little bit slow. So in that process of a bit of the slowness, we said, you know what? We need to let Malawi know that we are 100% committed to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we did is we proposed an idea to them of how can we promote tourism to Malawi.
Yeah.
And this was during the time of Honorable Minister Usi, when he was Minister of Tourism.
Mm-hmm.
They loved the idea, so we had the Visit Malawi slogan, the logo, put on the football jersey of a Spanish professional football club, which is CD Leganés. We carried that advert for 4 months.
Oh, it's you who did that?
Yes.
I thought it was the Ministry of Tourism.
No, we worked with them. So
okay.
I brought the idea to them. They supported us to say they loved the idea. Mm-hmm. So yes, it was my interest to bring it to Malawi. Otherwise, let's be honest.
Did Malawi government pay for that?
No. Malawi government did not pay anything for this.
Okay.
So we had the logo, they ran for 4 months.
Yeah.
That would have cost money. Any other place, this would have cost money. I think you probably must have read about when South Africa, the brand South Africa was going to appear on Tottenham football jersey.
Yeah.
There was outcry in South Africa about the cost of it.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen. You've seen the Visit Rwanda one on Arsenal,
yeah,
which is a lot of money in the tens of millions.
Yeah.
But for Malawi, no. This is also my patriotism towards Malawi and also the group that we represent, Rainbow
So
Sports.
who paid it? If Malawi government didn't pay for that visibility, then who paid for it?
This was covered by us, who gave them the sponsorship.
So the Rainbow Sports Global paid for that.
Rainbow Sports Global took that there and said we'll cover everything on this with the club. So on our side,
Yeah.
we took care of that.
Okay.
For Malawi, it was just literally all we asked from Malawi, give us the material that you want to appear. So they gave us the material to go on the jerseys. They gave us electronic videos that we played in the stadiums.
Yeah.
So you may have seen when we had the launch in Leganés, in the stadium, all across the stadium were billboards and logos of all the Malawi, Visit Malawi,
Yeah.
with videos playing for every 2 minutes. There'll be a Malawi video, attracting people to come. And also CD Leganés took it further by promoting Malawi on their social media channels. Now, I know a lot of people turn around and say that Spain, tourism, we're exposing Malawi. You need to expose Malawi to as many.
Yeah, because that was my next question to say,
Yes.
why Spain?
So Spain, the reason is that we're in partnership with CD Leganés.
Okay.
So that is a Spanish football club from La Liga. This is the reason why we went from Spain. Others will say, why not England? Why not this? We don't have the relationship with those things. The relationship we had was with Leganés, and they bought into the vision because of their passion as well for what we had gone to them with. They also have a passion for Malawi, and you'll be surprised to know, or happy to know, that CD Leganés now see Malawi as a great location for them to develop their
Have
next
we
talent.
benefited from that exposure?
Absolutely. If you look at it, for 4 months running,
Yeah.
advertising for Malawi, we would have paid a lot of money for this. You already know this. This would have gone in maybe in the billions of Malawi kwaches had this been paid for. But this wasn't paid for. So the exposure that's done, La Liga now knows of Malawi. The football community in Spain knows of Malawi. The media in Spain knows of Malawi. The political players in Spain know of Malawi. But now they're not knowing Malawi of the negatives. Now, Zambia news, Malawi, Bajidika Cyclone, Malawi, Bankanya corruption, Malawi, Bajidika Jabuti. They're knowing Malawi for something very positive. Malawi is a beautiful country, a safe country, political stability, friendly people, and this is the image we want to share.
Togoza ndizimene munachitazi.
Akubomawo kugamba zoti tinacheza ndi Minister Usi Wambiri,
Yeah.
and to be honest with you, in my opinion as well, I'm a great minister, and for what he helped us achieve, we're very grateful. And now the current minister, Honorable Minister Vera Kamtugule, I'm also very grateful for her as well. We need more support from the government.
Okay, so let's quickly talk about that.
Yes.
You want to come to Malawi to do what?
So
As the Rainbow Sports Global.
okay.
Yeah.
So here in Malawi, we've already been in high-level conversations with government and the different ministries. So we've been in conversations with the Ministry of Sports, the Ministry of Lands, the Ministry of Tourism. We've been in talks with literally the Office of the President. This is the MITC, Malawi Investment Trade Center. Now, these conversations have centered around this investment we want to put here in Malawi. So this is to build a state-of-the-art football academy, or center of sporting excellence. The idea is to start with football, but our hope is to eventually go into other sports such as mixed martial arts, boxing, basketball. That's what we want to do. But to kick off with, we're looking at football in partnership with CD Leganés from La Liga. Now, we've had these conversations with the government. The MITC have issued us a business investment certificate. So we've passed the due diligence stage. We have provided our proof of funds. We have provided our concept plans, our designs, our strategy, how we're going to monetize this as well, and how it's going to benefit Malawi.
Yeah.
So the idea is to work particularly with youngsters from the ages of maybe 12, 13 to about maybe cutoff point, I would say will probably be about 21. That's the idea.
Yeah.
And to help them, so we're looking at building this sporting center, which will have dormitories, it will have pitches, it will have a science lab, a training center, an educational center, because these are youngsters also need education.
You have already found the land?
We have identified the land.
Where?
We have identified the land in Lilongwe.
Okay. Where in Lilongwe?
Salima Road.
Okay.
So we are in the process of trying to finalize this. And benamati osankhula zambiri zibana zose zisayinidwe bwino.
Okay.
Ndebena makamuna pay ukuthi zonse ziyende bwino.
Yeah.
Kuma project ibindulira Malawi yonse.
Yeah, but you talked about your frustrations in dealing with government.
So the biggest frustration I would say is the slow movement of how things are. So, and I think this is something that has been articulated by other investors who have entered the market. It is also issues that I've also heard our head of state articulate these issues as well. So on that part, it is quite frustrating, but as long as we're following the correct procedures, and as long as government can also give us the support, because we are ready to go. We have the money ready, everything is ready. All we're waiting for is once we get the final approvals, then we're good.
So what kind of approvals are you looking for?
So what we're waiting for now is the land approvals. So land has been identified.
Yeah.
So if that can be fast-tracked more or less, but as I said, we want them to follow all the correct procedures. So
yeah.
So on both sides, we need to ensure we're following the correct procedures. Then we're waiting for that. Okay, this is the land. Project. That's one. We also need to know some of the conditions they're going to give us in terms of the importing of products that we're going to bring here, in terms of taxations. These are minor things that I know we'll get to the bottom of, but the key issue is Zalandi.
How big is this investment?
So this investment, we're looking in the, I would put it, in Malawi kwacha, I'll put it in the billions.
Okay.
Malawi kwacha.
Okay.
So yes. So
billions of kwachas. Where are you getting the money?
So we're fully funded. We've already sourced the money through our partners and ourselves. So that's where the money is coming from. This is
so if you are given a go-ahead, how long is it going to take to complete the infrastructure?
If we're given a go-ahead, the timelines we had set is that we believed within 3 to 6 months we'd have the infrastructure ready.
3 to 6 months?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Malawi, you know that.
This is our hope.
Yeah.
Because what we have, the money is there.
Okay.
What we need is now here the right construction companies to work with,
okay,
the right project management team to work with, and as I said, we want to do this project in partnership with government. So government is going to be a partner.
So what do you want to build? Come again on that one.
So we're going to build a full-blown sports center,
yeah,
which is going to have football pitches, dormitories, gymnasium, offices, science lab. That's what we're building. And then eventually, once we do the football side,
yeah,
as time goes on, we're going to now add basketball. We'll probably add mixed martial arts, because I think we believe that there's also room for other sports in Malawi. Let's not just look at Mpilawoka.
Yeah.
We believe that Malawi has a lot of talent. Actually, I was having a conversation with my colleagues, this was yesterday.
Yeah.
I had driven to Mangochi, and for myself, when I drove into Mangochi, it reminded me of we've also got very talented swimmers.
Yeah.
And you see at how they do that with ease. I started to think of myself that, this is raw talent.
Yeah.
Is this not a talent we can also develop through swimming?
Okay.
So I was having a conversation with my colleagues saying that, what are the chances of us also looking at having a swimming pool on site, where we can start training swimmers to compete professionally? And at that point, I'm like, but no, we can look at it, but we're putting that maybe more long term, but it's just ideas that we're having. And you look at here in Malawi, running, we can produce great runners. Mpila, we've over the years we've produced great footballers. Take Yasin Osmani, Kina Piri, Jack Jamangwana.
Yeah.
These are great footballers. I know in more modern times, Esau Ganyenda, Joseph Kamwendo, Pano Gabadinya Muhango. But I believe we can actually produce the next best stars from here.
What is wrong, talking about sports development, what is wrong with our sporting disciplines, and what needs to be done?
I think the biggest problem we have here is that we have a lot of natural talent, but the issue is that we don't have the infrastructure to nurture that natural talent. Because as a young player, you get to a certain age where you need that professional training and development for you to surpass the players you're playing with.
Yeah.
So if we can have that infrastructure in place, which means better pitches, better qualified coaches, better facilities in terms of equipment, also in other sports, not just in Mpila, but also away from that, nutritional issues. Because you look at, without mentioning too much, I've got some family members who are playing football professionally outside of the country. You look at a young age, these guys, the way they eat, the way they train, the way they sleep, is very different from what we have here.
Okay.
So unless we can do that, then we can transform the football here. If we don't...
How are people sleeping out there?
Football players will normally get at least 8 to 12 hours of sleep. Okay. There's recovery processes. They'll go to training twice a day. The first one will be a physical training or cardio or gym. Then after that, they're going to a recovery session where they're sitting in ice buckets. Okay. They're sitting in oxygen chambers. Now, we don't have those facilities here,
Yeah.
but you can already see that.
Your infrastructure in Lilongwe will have that?
Infrastructure in Lilongwe, not so much the oxygen chambers, but we have recovery centers. I think Zina's in Dalama, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll have the recovery rooms so that the players...
Then just recently,
Yes.
we saw you also getting involved in the Cyclone recovery projects. What happened?
So now the interest on Malawi for me is that for a lot of people who maybe have left Malawi and they're living in diaspora, Malawi is probably just a country on a map. For me, Malawi is not just a country on a map, this is home.
Yeah.
This is where I learned my first words. This is where I learned how to walk. This is where I created lifelong friends. This is a place that developed me. Now, I've been exposed to both sides, the wealth and the poverty. Now, Cyclone itself, when the cyclone hit, it is not my first time lending support to Malawi. During the administration of Professor Peter Mutharika, I did a few things on this specific issue.
What did you do with Professor Mutharika?
Okay, with the Professor Mutharika administration,
Yeah.
I was one of the very first person who was actually breaking this news internationally. So I went on different platforms to try and raise awareness to Malawi.
About what?
About the cyclone. Now, I think at that time it was Idai, if I recall?
Yeah.
So it was to raise funds to come and support Malawi, and also as ourselves, as individuals.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was not done at the scale of this one that just happened recently, which is Cyclone Freddy.
Yeah.
So when Cyclone Freddy hit, we were amassing a few support ourselves, but I received a phone call from His Excellency Dr. Bakili Muluzi. And he had told me that he is running he's set up an initiative where he's an ambassador, I should say, of an initiative called the Granny Manj Initiative with Her Excellency Joyce Banda. And he had said to me, James, do you know, or through your network, would you be able to help identify individuals who could help support Malawi? Now, I had a number of people who I know would be willing.
This is former President Bakiri speaking to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So at that point, I was like, I know a few people. So these are people in the world of sport. This is from boxing champions to Premier League footballers to musicians to philanthropists. I was like, I know people who can potentially help. So I started making a few phone calls to individuals, saying, how can we do this? How can we do this? The first person that wanted to help without even trying to understand what sort of devastation it was a gentleman called Dozie Mobozi. The
Nigerian guy.
Nigerian gentleman, yes.
Yeah.
He was the first person who said, I will support. So initially, the idea, I had gone to him to say, let's build 10 houses. And he said yes. He did ask questions, he said, let's do 10 houses. Then Dr. Bakili Muluzi said, I'm very grateful, let me speak with the gentleman. So I connected the two.
Yeah.
During the conversation, Dr. Bakili Muluzi expressed the sort of challenges that Malawi was experiencing. Dozie on the other side, I was sitting with him.
Yeah.
Dozie on the other side took out his calculator, started writing some stuff on a paper, calculated some stuff, and then muted the call with Dr. Bakili Muluzi and asked me, James, I think we need to do more. Then unmuted the call, and he showed me a number saying he wants to build 100 houses. And he had asked me to tell Dr. Bakili Muluzi on the call. So I said to Dr. Muluzi that, Your Excellency, Dozie is willing to build 100 houses.
Why couldn't he say it himself?
He could have, but I think maybe he felt more comfortable with me speaking.
Okay.
Dr. Bakili Muluzi was shocked by this, and Dozie at that point said, Dr. Bakili Muluzi offered him to visit Malawi. I said, no, I think it would be best for you to come and see the devastation yourself, so you see where the houses are being built.
Yeah.
This is where it came from. Now, Dozie himself could have put this money anywhere else, but the reason for this is, over the last, over a period of time, I have told him of the challenges of Malawi. So he knows what Malawi is going through. We are one of the poorest countries in the world. And as we also know that it's also about relationships, how you can channel in development, how you can create. If you don't have relationships, it's very hard to get things moving.
So he made a pledge of building 100
houses.
Yes. Has he fulfilled that
So
pledge?
he transferred the money to Malawi. So the money is Afika. Unfortunately, due to the rising costs in Malawi, we were then told that the money itself, because we're told it will be about $5,000 a house, which is now, it will be a little bit more than that. So about, I think, $7,500 a house So they were told that there would now be 75
So
houses.
in Kwacha, how much was wired
at that
to Malawi?
time? So this is the $500,000 he pledged is what Malawi.
So 500?
Yes, $500,000.
Okay.
So I think, I don't know what the exchange rate was, but I think it was announced that about 500 million Malawi kwacha had been received.
Okay.
Now, based on that, so the 100 houses, we've fallen a little bit short due to the rising cost in Malawi, so there'll be 75 houses.
Instead of 100?
Instead of the 100 houses.
Okay.
But away from that, I also know the gentleman himself said that he actually wants to do more for Malawi. He would love to build more houses in Malawi.
Yeah.
So that is actually something I know he is looking at.
And you're working with what? Where is the money going? Is it going to...
So the money has gone to the Malawi Red Cross.
Okay, Malawi Red Cross.
Malawi Red
so
Cross.
it's Malawi Red Cross in partnership with the two presidents?
Yes, so Malawi Red Cross in partnership with the two presidents, and for those specific houses, with the Dozi Mobozi Foundation.
Okay, so, let's take a short break because I have more questions on this guy because a lot was talked about you said Ndozi Mobozi.
Yes.
Ndozi Mobozi guy, because people were saying he's a crook, all sorts of things. Yes. So we'll talk about that when we return. In case you're just joining us, this is Times Exclusive, airing on Times Network. I'm joined by James Woods Nkhutabasa. He's a partner and director responsible for government relations at Rainbow Sports Global. We'll be back in a moment.
How often do you wash your favorite clothes? 52 times a year? How long do you wear them before they fade away? 3, 4 years? Imagine a paint with washability capabilities of up to 10,000 scrubs during its life. Imagine a paint that maintains its luster for over 7 years. Imagine a paint with a velvet finish and water resistance. Stop imagining, because Rainbow Acrylic Sheen does it all and beyond. An all-time hero for interior and exterior finishing that brings smiles to thousands of families and contractors. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind. Part of the deal.
If you are just joining us, welcome aboard. We are in the second half and the final half for our discussion tonight. I'm joined by James Woods Nkhutabasa, but people fondly call you James Woods.
Yes, I think it depends. Some will be in Nkhutabasa, they refuse to acknowledge the Woods, others they refuse to acknowledge Nkhutabasa, so it just depends in which circles.
Yeah, so he's coming from Rainbow Sports Global, a former diplomat, and it seems like you've done a lot.
I think,
Mr. Nkhutabasa.
I think, Brian, you've seen my profile, you know what I've been up to. You know, away from, as you're saying, away from diplomacy, away from working for Mo Ibrahim Foundation. I was also the country director for Invest Africa, which is a UK-based investment hub. With, they look after over 400 companies looking at investing in Africa. I was there for, I was investment director, country director for them for about 8 years, an Africa advisor. You move away from that. I don't know if you had the chance, because I don't know if you had the chance to look at some of the media work I have done, where I served as a African affairs analyst on Rise TV, on Ben TV, on TVC. I'm a regular commentator on some other international platforms from the UK.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting journey.
So are you based in London or you are in Ireland?
So myself, our Rainbow Sports Global, as I said, we have offices in Ireland.
Okay. So in Ireland?
No, I'm actually based in London.
Okay.
So we have we've got a registered office in Ireland. We have Cameroon. We have the USA. We have operations in Dubai, football club in Dubai, football club in Kenya. So for me, home is London. Okay. So home is London. I'm Ireland, London. It's only, you look at about a 45-minute flight. It's not a long distance. But also away from that, I spend a lot of my time away from the UK. I'm in Malawi almost every month. So I would say, as I mentioned to you earlier, I moved to the UK in 2004. Yeah. During that period, I'd come to Malawi maybe once or twice a year. Yeah. From 2012, in 2012, I was in Malawi almost every single month. That's 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Those are lots of
a lot of travel,
flying.
Yes. In 2018, it's when I could say it slowed down. But that was because I had now taken up the role with the embassy in Belgium, the Malawi embassy.
Okay.
So I was already so then but after I left the embassy, I think you've probably seen me in Malawi a lot of times.
Yeah.
So I'm in and out. I think this year alone, this is August, I've been to Malawi 7 times now.
Okay.
And I'm back again next month.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Uyu nzibambo wako Nigeria.
Yeah.
Mwati munanga mtenga kuti?
So Zimbabwe Nigeria ndimazwana naye.
Okay. Mwati dzina londa?
Dozi Mobozi.
Amobozi wa. Munatenga kuti?
So Nigeria wo, Nigeria mama kha London.
Okay.
So nkuluyo I resident ku London yiko, anakwatira konko enda nake konko.
Okay.
Nde kumekuja nakumana nawo nalongosolera zankhani.
Ngolemera?
Andolemeradi
Understand how
ineyo tikamba mbali yaine zomwe naone.
Yeah, koma you saw what people wrote.
And now ine mbali yaine ntawuzana kupita kunyumba kwawo kunyumba yawo. Nyumba yawo izoti kumayi kunoko bayibanga kwaniso kugula nyumba ngati imeneyo. Kumayi kunoko. Ntengo libya nyumba imeneyo ndoti tuma magula Banda yonseto. Di nyumba.
Okay.
Mupita baba mufika nkanya magali moto. Muona ma Rolls Royce ganti 5.
Okay.
Mupita ndoti munthu azikwanisa zimenezo muone security. Akhale nditi azungu azilo amasecurity ayi kumakhamuna security 8 9.
Okay.
Sergeant masala redu.
Yeah. Arazidenga kuti
ndamazo ayindi company yake.
Okay.
Company yake amaitchwa kuti Tingo.
Tingo.
Okay. The company yake imapanga zinthu mu agriculture. There's mamalemba mujati yamapanga anapeza nsika wanthu azigulisa ma product awo.
Okay.
Namagulisa platform yake kuti azigulisa ma product. There's connecting the buyers and the sellers.
Okay.
Platform baje. Ndipo amatenga ma commission pa company yako.
Okay. So awurata bwera kuno. Can you confirm kuti boma la Malawi linampatsa diplomatic passport?
Zimene zoti naona kuti anamupasa.
Anampatsa? You can confirm?
Asiz natuka news.
Yeah, but because ngasema kuti munabwera naye ndiyo. Can you confirm that he was given a diplomatic passport?
Yes, from what I understand, yes.
No.
Yes.
No, not from what I understand. Did you see the diplomatic passport?
I didn't see it.
Okay.
After Zmina ananda the passport.
No. Mr. Nkhutabasa, you can do better than that. Uyu mulendo wanu munabwera naye ndiyo.
Manangasima tifunsa kuti tinayiona ngati
munthu mudampeza ndiyo. Eti munampeza ndiyo munthu. Munabwera naye kumudzi kuno kudzathandiza. See, he was here. He went as far as Palombe. So my question is, there are reports that he was given a diplomatic passport.
Yes.
Can you confirm yes or no if he was given a diplomatic passport?
What I can say on that, in the passport,
yes or no, Mr. Nkhutabasa, yes or no? Yes or no? Anampatsa. Okay. Why?
As many as on the zobila kupiriko kulongoso asha I know why neme maziwira nzokuti kupereka diplomatic passport zimajokera it's by the head of state wishes kupereka passport yebukuyo zili manja makuti apereke kana sapereke.
Yeah, but what could be the reason?
Ine pamenepo nditati ndiyanganisise reason yake mbona ndichithandizo choma kubweresa chifukwa nditati tiyanganisise.
Yeah.
Maiko ambiri amapereka ma passport.
I see.
Amapereka kuti zina zijamakamba kuti residence by yosiyana but diplomatic inde by residence.
Yeah.
Zina zijamatopasa residence by investment. Amatopambata bwali udziwo watu tupasa ni passport ndi residence mukubanga invest ndama makuti.
Yeah.
Kupereka. Zina maiko ambiri akuchita.
Okay.
Ena amakamba zokuti okay mukalithandiza tukupasa ndi diplomatic passport koma you act as a goodwill ambassador for a specific cause.
Okay.
Ndeme ndikuonera ineyo.
Yeah.
Kani meneta yokhudzana ndi Cyclone. Zodi munthu abwa kuno wathandiza munthu mmodzi ndi wathandiza 500 million maiwashi ndipo so kuti muna ma audience kuti amvesese imene ndi bank rate tikaona ndama zija kuti muyike pa rate panopa kuti timakamba black market that's close to 900 million maiwashi yomwe inaperekedwa kumayi kunoko. Bank rate ya mapanga 1000 to 1 ni ndama zambiri zopereka munthu mmodzi komanso pamene paja munthu atafuna thandize somanga manyumba ena ndi kwa ine imene ndingaonere pamene paja mwina chifukwa za zimenezo anaona kuti munthu uyu akuthandiza dziko pothandiza dziko muja how can they attract him kuti abweresenso chithandizoso china kuno through azinzake through yeyonso kuti abwerese kuno.
Okay. Nde inu mwati mwayenda maiko ambiri pano mugwira ntchito ndi dziko la Ghana
koma nkhani za ndale za kugana kuja nzovuta kuyankhula kwambiri koma pitiriza.
Ndi funso langa lakuti mugwira kumeneko ku Ghana
tikuthandiza.
Muthandiza akupatsa diplomatic passport kumeneko?
Sindinafunse. Mwina tidati tifunse mwina zingakhale nkhani.
So awawa mabosewa adafunsa?
Zimenezo ndisindikuziwa. Menda akamba zimenezo ndifunso yoti yakuphiri nanga ineyo ngati citizen ngati ino za passport inu mungaperekese passport funso ndimeneyo.
Okay. Yeah, because I want to understand why.
Yeah, zomwe ndakambazo zokuti mene ndikuonera ineyo.
Yeah.
Nkhanyake ikhala the good causes.
Okay.
Zomwe munthu wachita.
Okay.
Zoti munthu abwera ndi chithandizo.
Yeah.
Pachithandizocho. Mwina aboma muzikumbukira kuti passport it's at the mercy of the government.
Yeah.
Government itapanga revoke.
Yeah.
Itakusunga zimanje ma government and kubeka diplomatic passport isuti nkwayambirira kubeka wa munthu.
Okay.
By antambimbi mai munakuyenza ma diplomatic passport. Zimene mukuziziwa so.
Okay.
Paliye namakamba kuti azathandiza Malawi mausathandiza ndikomwe.
Yeah.
Ndipo napake so zinthu ngati zizi tikamaona mwina tizoona kuti chithandizocho chikubweradi koma nkhani yomwe inavuta pa iyi.
Yeah.
Mwina nkhani mafunso mambiri kuja kuti anthu nakamba kuti munthu uyuyu siwolongosoka ndipo mwina chomwe chinavuta ndi chimenecho nakhati pataibe nkhani zimene zinji.
Yeah.
Ndikukayikira kuti anthu nakati.
Why do you think people raised those fears kuti munthu uyu siwolongosoka?
Koma yo tikambira mepacha.
Yeah.
Anthu sanalakwisi kupanga lezi.
Okay.
Ngasi awerenga.
Yeah.
Awenga manyuzi tampanga munthu accuse chakuti.
Yeah.
Nde munthu mwamantha ndi mwakonseni madziko mwako sungalakwise kupanga lezi zimene zijet.
Yeah.
Komano tikamapanga lezi zinthu zinazi.
Yeah.
Pomwe chimafunika ndikupanga understand ma fact behind zinthuzi. Ma fact aja njokuti okay munthu uyu ma accusations ndawa. Yes ifeti mina anthu ochita mantha. Koma nkhani ndiona kapena ndiyaboza. Ayanganisiseka pamene kweti.
Yeah.
Akapita kwina kuja munthu uja natusa statement zokuti nkhani iyi kuma lawyers yeyo sangayankhule panga ma lawyers atulise report
kuti anthu amatijani
amakamba zokuti ayi munthu ndopanda ndalama ndiwokuba za maboza ndezimene zinachoka pamene paja pandapeza
adayimva nkhaniyo kuti amalawi amayankhula imeneyo
anayimva so nkhaniyo.
Okay.
Anayimva nkhaniyo.
So to answer my question, 500 million imene adalonjeza through ma tigwirane manja ambassadors, His Excellency Dr. Bakiri Muluzi and Her Excellency Madam Joyce Banda.
Yes.
Anachita commit that
ndamasija napereka manyumba sopano ali ma roof level malo ena ndena akumangidwa manyumba.
Okay. What about you?
Yes.
Inuyo ndi munthu wabwino bwino?
Ine munthu wabwino.
Chifukwa chonena kuti anthu amanena kuti James Woods yotu musamale naye kumene ku Malawi. Munthu uyu mkatyali uyu. Mbakuba munthu uyu. Amalankhula kwambiri koma sikuti amachita zambiri. We have heard those sentiments and I want to put, because in case you didn't hear that, I want to put it on your face.
Yes.
Kuti anthu amanena kuti James Woods uyu musamale naye mkatyali. Ngotyachalika ali ndi zizungu take makhala kuti munthu uyu ndi khumucha. What would you answer in that regard?
Kwa ineyo ndikambe zinthu chimodzi pamenepo zokuti munthu komachita zinthu zokuti anthu sakumvesesa ukapena maona kuti ndiwa chinyamata amakwanisa zimene zobwanji kumakhala nsanje kumakhala zinthu zoti amene watheka bwanji kwina zomwe ndimamva nyamata amene ndiwachikaladi timalowesa no zinthu za mtunduno ndezima ndidabwisa kuti tonse ndife amalawi timalowekera mtundu.
Okay.
Muzoona ndikupeka example Tiger Woods amawina golf uko palibe amamakamba ndiwachikaladi onse amati the best black golfer. Muzipezeka no kuti woimba nyimbo ya Eminem ndi nzungu imba bwino anthu iya amene is not a good rapper shani nzungu zitayeni zimene zija tiyambe kuyangana munthu zintchito zimakugwirazo kugwira ntchito bwino ndakubwera kufunso yanuyo yomwe makamba zoti anthu amakamba ali a James Woods ndachale ine ndazimva sonkhani zimene zija
sikoyamba
tazimva kambiri komanso anthu amakambawo munaso achokamba pena ndipo sindi anthu ochepa aja munayindika amapanga phokoso ma social media mo mukamwana so penetration ya social media manja ing'ono kwambiri koma we amplifies mawokamba muzimva nkhani zinaveka nkhani kuti amayi Joyce Banda president ndokopa magazi nkhani amaboza ngatiyo mukamva nkhani mamacho president Mutharika kuti president Mutharika izigemo ayikumbuka nkhani manager zamaboza ngatizo ndi anthu oche makamba nkhani azisokoneza mukapita mbali ya ife tinamva zokuti ati James Woods ku school sanapita munthu ndapita University of London ndapanga diploma certificate at School for African Studies ndapita London School of Economics ndapanga ma program ku Cleaning the Institute ku Holland in communications strategic reputation in shipping ndapita ku panopa I'm at the University of Oxford Said Business School doing an executive MBA. The executive MBA I've actually become the first Malawian to be enrolled on that executive MBA. Program manager fees yake we're about 107,000 pounds fees yake. Living Jan, you'll probably be spending going some manyumba transport Jan, you'll be looking about 240,000 pounds. Wina zikamba ti haya amene ojana amaboza nje tukubezeka umene kuja bwanji ukutagwira ntchito kwa Mo Ibrahim munthu kuti padziko pansi pano amampasole mukwambiri tinapezeka ku bwanji kumeneko tizikapezeka ku Invest Africa umakhala country director for zaka 8 tapezeka ko bwanji tizikapezeka kumalumikizana ndi ma president akumayiko siyana kuyambira ku America kupita ku Ghana
usale ndiye kuchachalikako kumeneko
komano kuti
kuchachalika
nama amachwa kuchachalika komano azumbuka kuti mawaja kuti ukapezekeko you have something of value to offer. If you have nothing of value to offer, you're not being those circles. No customer kuziwa. It is impossible kuti pazipezeka kuti ndafika kumayi kunoko ndakumana ndi president chakwe yazongo zochachalika memo uchulazo. It's impossible kumana ndipita mutalika nkhani zimenezo. Impossible kumana ndi my dress band nkhani zimenezo. So antipena pake aziona zongo kambazo kuti nyamata uyuyu amapezeka bwanji.
I think one of your biggest critic has been Ben Chizan Kandawire. Munayamba na changa.
Beni ndumuzi wabuno sinamba ndina chili Johnson ndumuzi wabuno kwambiri so Beni. And in actual fact, Beni Chizan tinagwira ntchito so limozi.
Okay.
Tikamagamba nagwira ntchito limozi, tinapanga time na ya Shell Stream Petroleum, Iraq Gas, I was the chief consultant at the Shell Stream Petroleum, mai kunoko.
Yeah.
Beni Chizan magwira ntchito ku Hamra Oil and Iraq Gas.
Yeah.
Tagwira kwambiri on the development of Malawi concerning how the energy space, oil and gas space can transform Malawi. So ndumuzi wakwambiri kuti kusempana babe josempana jana.
So palibe chimene munayambana?
Ayi nokumana nayo Beni ndicheza nayo muno.
Okay. So to answer my question,
yes.
Are you the right man? Mulibe zina zimene ntchito igatha zimene kama zimene mumangazo Malawi sadzadzidzimuka kuti koma tidakhulupirira munthu olongosoka.
Yeah, komando funsoyo yofunsa banopa. Munthu kakhazo kuti amakamba tsiyo olongosoka. Nabanga jani kuti sakhe olongosoka. Babe banje bangabange point kuti ishi anamtengesa ndana onya bathu bemuza ngamba hayi wa corrupt sana mufufuzo esibena beza babe mwanju na yonse njeba mayi bano timakonda kuyankhula nsanje wani 2 let's bring down some of na munthu akutukuka akamona utachita bwino timugwese modani and this has become a main symptom of our downfall here in Malawi.
Okay.
Where we're always looking at how can we criticize based on the falsehoods, fake stories, and just for malicious intent. Mukakamuchita bwino maba. Ngati sumuchita bwino ndi wa sataniki. Ndezi ndi ukhabati bono. Jita yose ndi vuto. Tikapita kuzomwe tikuchitazi. Munthu anati panga award muna muzizi wakale, anati panga award as the African Achiever of the Year mu 2015 alongside the President Jakaki Kikwete at the time of Tanzania. Lamini Zuma.
Muoneka ngati munthu odzitamandira kwambiri. Kulangwa kuyankhula choncho?
Sikulakwa koma ndi chilungamo. Munthu ngati wachita chinthu ndi chilungamo chake. Koma kuti pange achieve zinthu zimenezo umayenera kuti anthu akuthandizeso. Anthu akuthandizwa panga achieve. Nawe suzathandiza pange so achieve. Komanso akuposeso iweyo.
Okay.
Ndesu kuti uzitamandika yancha paipa china chili chonse. Kumatha upanga zoti apa munthu menda pangazi. Amakamba kuti munthu be grateful to the Lord God and Jesus Christ for the blessings you have. Whilst you're grateful for that, how can you also extend a hand to others? How can you lift up others? Chifukwa mbayi yaine makolanga namwayani ndi dzaka 8.
Okay.
Abambwanga namayanga namwalira 3 months apart.
Okay.
Tidalidwa moyo kuti makhandi mantizi mangozi from house to house. Moyo suli wopheka namaya makolo. Ndene ukuti amaye banje naona kuti ziphinjo ndakumana nazo. Koma chomwe ndaphunza amaye banje ndicho kuti china chiyonse mmoyo kumagayira anthu ena kumapangira limodzi. Ndezonse zomwe ndikupanga achieve panopa. Sindikupangira ndekha. Ndikupangira kuti nyamata yapoyo nsikana yapoyo.
What is in it for you in all these things that you are doing? Kwaitana amobizeo ndani all these things. What is in it for you?
For myself, it is the upliftment of Malawi. This is a place.
It's not for your personal gain?
No, this is not for my personal gain. Personal gain is the universities. That is a personal gain. School.
Okay.
Personal gain is my business. My business is private.
Okay.
That is personal gain. My investment. That can never be a personal gain.
Let's quickly talk about the financial remittances. I was actually reading a magazine where was it in Kenya and Zambia, where they are living in the diaspora. They are contributing immensely to the development of their countries. What would you rate Malawi's contribution for those that are in the diaspora, and what are the challenges of bringing money home?
You see, the countries you have mentioned, Kenya is a far more advanced economy than us. Kenya itself, if you look at technology, this is the silicon hub of Africa. They're able to put together proper financial instruments and structures to allow for key remittances to come back into Kenya, but also they also have key vehicles of where people can invest in, which are safe investments. Tikapita ku Zambia, I cannot speak much about Zambia, but I know a lot is changing. But Zambia, they're being praised for their governance. Here in Malawi, we still have a long way to go. The biggest challenge when you go to is the stability of our economy, the fluctuation of the Malawi kwacha, which makes it quite tough for Antasmanga Remiti Guno. Kwina kundi ma financial instruments oti antakutumiza ndama kuno zofikira kuti titenge mabank rate akudula kwambiri. Kuti munthu atumize ndama uko timbweka mabanka apo pambali tikambe Western Union. Western Union munthu atumize pa ma charges makucharge kwambiri. Munthu jamwe ngati ndama iyi ndikatumiza iyi akudula ma charges uko. Mukapita ku bank kuja kuzani zokuti exchange rate last time papa check was a pound inali 1400 kwacha to a pound. Muntu aona black market akuza ni 2100 2200. Muntu aona we bajali ndebwani saduse ma bank ma charges are too high. Ma conversion yo ndibweteka. Bwani ngobeza muntu naga bambali ba and senti ni pasa mabaundi wo and basmalai kwacha. Nenda message azukupita ku ma household. Personal houses just to support that. It's not really going to the development of Malawi. So I think we need to actually put together a proper trusted system of creating investment vehicles that we can attract the diaspora to say, send your money, let's build this, let's develop this, and something that is safe, secure, something that is transparent. Now, the Malawi government, I know, has been trying this with engaging with Malawian diasporas through the embassies, but most of these things are poorly coordinated. And we need proper coordination on this. And one of my biggest challenges, if we're trying to attract the diaspora, we need major engagement with our embassies.
But it's not embassy. What did you do?
Our embassies most times are very badly funded. Museum.
Mpaka 3 months
Chintu choma kumbukira ndizokuti you're there to do a job. Enafe tinapita ku embassy sukuti tinapita ndalama. Sindikubisilani ndimapanga ndama zambiri outside of embassy kusandi ku embassy ko. Tinapita ku embassy thandize dziko. Komano zomwe zimafunika is we need competency in those embassies. Vuto lake kumayi kuoneka ngoti boma yasinta anthu sachosedwa akubwera ena. There's no contract inata bwino. Inata, it was a 3-year contract. Inata, I even stayed on for an extra 1 year. After that 1 year, Nanyamuka. My contract had a year before that. So quite now, even being there, it was an honor to be there. And I'm grateful to President Chakwera. I'm grateful to President Mutharika. It was Mutharika who sent me there. I'm very grateful for that opportunity to serve your country. I think is the biggest achievement that you can have. For your country, to serve in the embassy, there's too much bureaucracy. Outside, you
were talking about the caliber of people that we are sending.
Yes, so going back, remember Malawi indeed very well experienced people. Now remember it's about relationships. I was just in union in Chito. It will take me time to build a relationship with the staff. And also the people you know in the private sector. It will take time. Remember there's no handover, no proper handover, no proper relationships. My relationship are jat. We're just in that cycle where there's no proper development. But I was able to give advice to my Gunoko. You know, we have great diplomats in Malawi. I know Ena Bangarita Pompano Kenan Ponto was High Commissioner in London. Very great diplomat. He needs that knowledge to help others. Mukaona Brani Bola Brazil. That man has been in diplomacy for 16 years plus. You can imagine the networks that man has across Malawi. Brani Bola Jani Muntoguti Atonyama Foni Leo, Quimba Foni President of Brazil. Atonyama Foni Wimba President of America. ndiponso apa sindinama brand bwana bangaintroduce wanchema ka Joe Biden brand bola imwe munthu wokuti ndi munthu wokuti boma magwirisa anthu ngana menaji kuti inu ndi knowledge mutothandiza apa ndi apa.
Yeah.
And we need to have even a proper diplomatic school where anthu azidusa memuja.
Yeah.
Zimezi jatika bantu banga zimezi.
Mwabwera kumudzi kuno mwati mwabwera. What are you hearing? Anthu amalawi akukuzani jani zamene awukhalira kuno?
No, I think the issue that it's for a lot of Malawians I've met, they are experiencing challenges in Malawi.
Yeah.
But these challenges we can attribute with it's not only Malawi, it's across several countries. We can relate this in Dinkaniza, COVID, the effects that had, my effects Russia, Ukraine, the global economy. The
diplomatic.
Okay. Then UK, we also when you win. Okay. And I felt we're very fortunate to get it. Babu no go yes. Oh. But the meeting goes into financially and then. The cost of living in London is very high. The wages are very low.
Yeah.
They tikafaniza me bajiona umai kuno yes anthu akamba zokuti uma ndiziphinjo makuti koma dziko iyi ndio savuta kukhonza dziko iyi vuto lake benda kamba mambe muja kuti tichoseza ndalezi tizike kumbali tichose izonena na zansanje tizike kumbali. Let's come together panopa. How can we develop dziko lino? Awe budget kamango development of this country sibo mayokharu. Development of this country, it's yourself, it's myself, the private sector. We need to come together to help develop this country. Just ndalezija taizambi mabezeka kuti ya yanagula chibanjo tsagwe na nchito uyu ndo aba utsange na ijakuti zimeze zena kuleka pano patu pasala ndi 2025 next election but 2 years ubelai. There's a lot that this government can do, and what you hope for is you hope kuti the country itself can find a way. How can we better improve this nation? Let's stop the politicking. Let's focus on development. Let's focus on putting the right people in place.
So, nzosavuta kulikonza dziko li.
Dziko ya tidati tonse talumikizana bwino kulikonza dziko.
Yeah.
Koma menda kamba muche yoseza ndale zija tiziko. Mai muno anthu aini ndalama muno. Tengani mubija mulimbi momwe muja ni ndalama. Mugone development of limbi ndio vesa chisoni.
Yeah.
Koma meme muja peza mwenye meme muja mukaone kunja ma investment maina kunjao zambili. We need to start making those people feel that this is also their home.
Yeah.
Start investing back here. The Greek community here is making a lot of money. How can they also see this as their home?
Yeah.
Vuto like timakapa no kumakamba odi Malawi is only for indigenous Malawians. What is an indigenous Malawian? To me, an indigenous Malawian is a person who was born on this soil, who has the values of Malawi and is patriotic about the country.
Yeah.
It does not matter whether you are black, white, Indian, Italian, is menezo. Muntu ngati ndiwe Malawi.
Yes.
It is banga my example to nani menezi na ndela ku moni mai kwanza to ku Zambia. Ana ndi vice president yomana inzoko. Umai kuno kwezimenezo timakanga tuti ayamenda kunja. Awesuwa kuno. Let's be patriotic about this country. That's the most important thing. Whether you're DPP, UDF, UTM, MCP, let's be patriotic. Let's not be patriotic to the party, but patriotic to the country.
Pamene tikupita ku mapeto kwa discussion yathu, are you optimistic about this country?
I've always been optimistic about Malawi. For myself, Malawi itself, if you compare it with other countries, Malawi has not had a civil war. Malawi has been a very, very, very peaceful nation. We have a very stable democracy here. Our elections, violence, we need the right people.
Yeah.
We need to stop zokuti uyu watanziza jibanti mpase position. Uyu ni mbala kuti pass position. Kunoko ba anthu ambe athoyitanziza dziko lino. No kamuzizwa kuti mai kunoko we persecute one another kwambiri. That persecution is personal gain but damage for the nation. Zumwe endela bano ba mai bano. To me, I've always been optimistic of this country. A lot of things have gone down over the years. I remember the reason I went to the London School of Economics to do my master's. I was accepted to go to Harvard University, but I chose the LSE because of one man. That was Thandika Nkandawire, a man born on this soil, but spent his life overseas. And this man, all those years I knew him, may his soul rest in peace, but all the years I knew him, he had always painted a very positive picture of Malawi. And he had run me through a few things. Where Malawi was at the time of independence to where Malawi is today. Malawi has regressed. In terms of education, we have gone down. In terms of our growth, it's often time age, in the 1960s, our economic trajectory and growth was higher than maybe South Korea, Ghana. Look at those countries where they are today. But they had a clear path, a clear agenda, and that politicking was out the window. You have two main parties, the NDC and the NPP. Amasintana Bunubuinu. 8 years. But the one thing is they all hold each other to account, and all those leaders, they also meet together and how they can develop Nzugulao. If they need to come together.
Yeah.
How do we put together a proper strategy now? We are heavily reliant on the donor Edu Maiwo. But what are we doing with it? Let's put the right people, the right organizations, the right systems. And in my opinion, I think we also need a lot more of these private sector individuals coming into politics.
Yeah.
Because they're coming with a reputation to safeguard.
Yeah.
They're coming with credibility.
Yeah.
Let's stop with Magaria politicians. And I think that's what this country really needs.
Pambo James Woods, mwina mukozo okhala ndi kuti koma naliso nchakuti ntalankhula. I want to give you an opportunity to give us your concluding remarks and your parting shot for tonight.
Well, no, on my part, first of all, it's thank you very much to you having me on this program. Thank you very much to the audience for tuning in as well and listening through. For myself, I would say that where I am today is I want to play a key role in the development of Malawi through the projects we're doing. And I would love for more Malawians to get involved. I would love for us to even find ways of communicating with ideas. But there's also ways you can also help me. In Ebanoba, I have access to key individuals around the globe who are interested in investing in Malawi. If some of you know of great areas, let's have that conversation. See, Invest Africa. I was a country director of Mewuj. Japon Paramandifuna would indicate Kalego, Wotsogo, a company menu. Now, the menu is Singa Wanise. Through network manage, we can tap into my investors and be or the way I will know. The Babbage of Nungo Pempawama, when the Grand Children was could it zigway to go.
Mukalabe Wingalandego, Kabina Mubera Kumut. Because it's been long.
Ineo kumudziwo menda longo swamuja mwezi no sindi kunoko panopa ulendo no ndakhago no 3 weeks.
Okay.
Kwinga nkango khago muna masiku 10.
Okay. Mubweranso
ngajome kuja ndipita kaye ku Ghana. Ghana kuja kakhago muna masiku 4 5.
Yeah.
Kajoma ndibwa so kunoso.
Okay.
Nde panopa mukomandi fusa kuti kunyumba ndi kuti yes nankhalu kulandani koma kunyumba panopa ndikamba kuti I'm spending more time kumenda kuno.
Okay.
Koma no nkhani yanu fusime mafusa kuti kuzakhazikika kuno. Zokhazika kuno ndiuganizira kwambiri kuzakhazikika.
Do you have any political ambitions?
As of now,
member of parliament or running for president?
I have been asked several times, would you consider going to become a member of parliament? Ineyo kumudzimena longo somo mudzi nduchikwawa.
Okay.
Kuma kuchikwawa tibeke soma ulemu kwa Mia uchita bwino ko basi. Kuchikwawa kuja. I have heard wonderful things about
Mrs. Mia.
Mrs. Mia, I've heard wonderful things about what they're doing there. Ngojo ni mudzi wanga.
Okay.
Ine sama ndinzi wawo. Tikajo komeneko ndakulira musigereke uko.
Yeah.
Kujomoni kusigereke.
Yeah.
If I was ever to do anything, ndikusigereke.
Okay.
Kusigereke ndi watu abundizome wafuma utidziwa kumwe kulabangako zinthu tukumanga soma nyumba ujomoniko za private.
Yeah.
Tukubanga kumwe kubaisa ma investment ndiyena taya covid mathandizira anaso mathanzazi ma school fees kumeneko. Ndendali ndibwere ndi kumeneko. Ikabafusa funso about the political aspirations.
Yeah.
My main issue is I want to play a role in the growth and the development of this country.
Okay.
However that role will be, time will tell.
Okay.
Right now, my main focus is how can we develop this football academy?
Yeah.
How can we impact Malawians? Away from that, how can we also develop other systems that can create opportunities, create jobs, empowerment for women, empowerment for the youth, and also be a source of forex into this country?
Yeah.
Those are my main focuses, Bano.
James Woods Nkhutabasa, quite interesting, I must say, hearing you talk. You're still young, and we wish you well. And thank you very much for passing by Times Television headquarters for this an encounter that we have had tonight.
Thank you.
Well, on that note, we conclude this week's edition of Times Exclusive here on Times Television. I was privileged to host James Woods, who is partner and director responsible for government relations at Rainbow Sports Global. My name is Brian Banda, thanking you for joining us tonight, and goodbye from Blantyre.